Another installment of Web Talk here on RTV on ReadingPhillies.com. Thanks for logging on and checking it out. To my left, Jonathan Pettibone, first year at the AA level with the Reading Phillies. You're through your first 2 months and a couple weeks. Where would you say you're at with things?
Pretty good. I mean, overall as a team, we've had great success, I think. And then me personally, I've already made 12 starts, so that's a plus. I stayed healthy so far. I might have struggled a little bit early on, but now I feel like I have a pretty good feel for what's going on. Feel healthy and strong, and then, with the command of my pitches going on, I feel like I'm holding my own,
The month of May was phenomenal for you and a great first start in the month of June. What changed from April going forward?
Yeah, it wasn't really much. I think it was more mentally, if anything. I went away from the two-seam where I threw a lot more early on at the start of the season. And kind of since then, I went back to my four-seam, which has been a strength in the past, last year where I had a lot of success with it. So I stuck to those roots, like in May you said, and then kind of continuing to build off that ever since.
What else about this experience? Maybe something that is happening that you didn't expect, whether it's about the travel, the cities, the experience of playing here at First Energy Stadium on a regular basis?
I think that's probably the biggest thing. Last year in the Florida State League, we didn't get much fans, with the humidity and the weather and all. So being out here with the packed stadium every night, it's kind of great. You kind of feel the energy, the electricity going on, and it kind of gives you something to play for. It's exciting.
You mentioned earlier on that the first couple seasons in your pro career battling some injuries. How did going through that experience, emerging from it, shape you in terms of becoming the player that you are right now?
I think it only helped me, early on, especially coming out of high school. I was young, didn't know really what to expect and all, especially with the full seasons and everything. So dealing with an injury has kind of set me up from later on, and for now, knowing what I have to do to get my body in shape, how I have to stay healthy, for that full season, what I have to do to keep that healthy record behind me, and so far I think I've found a pretty good idea of what I need, and I've been just kind of going from there.
It must have been such a different type of experience to go through, whereas, coming out of high school, opportunity to go to University of Southern California, right around your home base, getting phone calls from former Reading Phillies, Cole Hamels, that sort of thing, and then to have to play it patient. How did that go?
You mean with the signing and all?
Just playing it patient, was that something that you felt like you grew through by having to do that?
I would say so. It was kind of just torn. That summer was tough because I had the good scholarship to Southern Cal. I've always been a big fan of USC growing up, watching their football, with the Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart's era. So then when the Phillies came in, of course it was another dream of mine to play professional ball just like my dad. And so it was kind of a little tug of war that whole summer after my senior year, and then finally Phillies came on strong late August, so we decided to go with it. The money was right, and so everything kind of fell in place at the end, and we went from there and kind of happy with the decision we made.
You mentioned your father, Jay Pettibone, who pitched in the Minnesota Twins player development system, made it up to the big leagues for a couple games. What role did he play in terms of, even before we talk about your development as a player, but just guiding you through that process of making the decision about when it would be the right time to pursue a pro career?
No, he was huge. It was great having him, especially someone who's gone through the ranks, really. I didn't really have an agent at the time. I kind of was talking to some, but never really signed with anyone during the draft. So it was kind of just me and him going at it ourselves. We were new to this, with his he played 20 years ago, whatever it was, so he was still, the draft's a lot different, And me being a higher rounder, we had to do negotiations and all, so it was a little bit kind of up in the air. We didn't know exactly how to go about it, but I think we did a pretty good job. It ended up working out pretty well, so hats off to him, and I still haven't paid him anything yet.
Well, for him, it's got to be such an awesome experience, too, seeing you move along throughout the Philadelphia Phillies player development system. What was your earliest memory of baseball in your family?
Actually, kind of a funny story. I don't know if it's funny, but my dad, after he retired from baseball, the strike year, the replacement year, back in '94, he got a call with the Tigers, and they had no players, so they got a call, and he wanted to give it a shot, and so he moved our family out to Lakeland for that the spring training, and actually ended up making the team. He was in Detroit the night before opening day, and that's when they called off the strike. So he was a day away from pitching again in Detroit. So I would say I vaguely remember that trip. I was only like 4 or 5. But it's funny now because we play in spring training. We play the Tigers a lot, so we go back to that stadium. I kind of remember like being around in that clubhouse. He would take me in like after the games. I think they had like a ice cream dispenser thing that I would always eat, and then we would also run the bases after the games. So that's, I would say, probably my first memory of growing up in a baseball family.
Do you recall if it was a happy, young, 4-year-old-ish John Pettibone that Dad was then going to be able to spend more time around the family, or bummed, Dad's not going to be on the big league roster now?
I don't think I knew quite exactly what was going on. Just loved being around the baseball diamond. I think we would play catch with like Al Kaline. He was down there a lot, so I didn't know, obviously, at the time who he was, but now looking back with pictures and stuff, it's kind of neat.
That's awesome. You also played basketball while you were in high school. What ultimately led you to furthering your career in baseball, and where did basketball factor into all of it?
Yeah, playing basketball kind of was a nice split for me. I wasn't burned out on baseball playing year-round. It kind of gave me my arm a rest also, which was also a benefit. But growing up, I always loved basketball. I still love it today. A big Laker fan, so it was nice having that little split, and then actually kind of turned out to be okay, surprisingly. And then ultimately with like the baseball scholarship, that's where I pushed baseball being my priority, kind of led from there.
So far, a very sound professional baseball career for Jonathan Pettibone. Any specific goals that you've set for yourself going forward for the rest of 2012?
Biggest thing, staying healthy, of course. We're coming up on halfway. So if I could kind of have another second half like I had this year, would definitely be a success. And then also team goals. Kind of want to get a playoff berth and then see what we can do in the playoffs. Kind of upgrade from last year.
Amen. That would be a cool thing. Jonathan Pettibone, rated number 4 in the Phillies farm system per Baseball America. Thanks so much for the time and continued success.
Thank you.
Thanks for checking out the latest episode of Web Talk here on RTV on ReadingPhillies.com. More content throughout the rest of the year, so keep it right here on ReadingPhillies.com.